simplify completely, and we have 25 minus x squared over x squared minus 10x plus 25 divided by 20 plus 4x over 10 minus 2x. Now these are rational expressions, so we know that we have to factor these, okay? So let's factor each one. The first one is 25 minus x squared. This is a difference of two squares, so we can do that as 5 minus x and 5 plus x. For the second one, the denominator here, that's going to be x minus 5 and x minus 5. That's a perfect square trinomial. Now this is a division, and remember, we never divide by fractions, right? We always multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to switch and flip here, right? So I'm going to switch the sign into a multiplication, and I'm going to flip the fraction here, right? So I'm going to put the 10 minus 2x on the numerator and the 20 plus 4x on the denominator. All right, of course, we still have to factor this out, okay? So, I mean, technically, I guess I could have done that in one step, but I definitely want to make sure I write everything out so that I don't make any silly mistakes. Okay, what can we factor out from here? 10 minus 2x, right? There's no square term, so be careful about that. Here, we can only just factor out the 2, right? So once we factor out the 2, we get 5 minus x. Denominator, sort of the same thing, right? We can only factor out a 4 here, so once we factor out the 4, we get 5 plus x. All right, so we have properly factored whatever we could. Now we have to see what cancels out. Yeah. So what cancels out here? Okay, so we see a 5 plus x, that's good, right? Those cancel out. What about the 5 minus x here and the x minus 5 here? Okay, remember, these are not the same thing, right? X minus 5 and 5 minus x are not the same thing, but, okay, remember, 5 minus x, we can rearrange the terms and write that as negative x plus 5. But notice what happens if you factor out the negative. We get the negative and in parentheses x minus 5. So what does that mean? It means that 5 minus x, we can actually rewrite that as the negative of x minus 5. And similarly, this 5 minus x can be written as the negative of x minus 5. Right? Notice what happens here. This x minus 5 will cancel out. This x minus 5 will cancel out. So really, what are we left with then? Okay. So make sure you keep track of what's remaining. There's two negatives, right? So we know that two negatives make a positive. So all we are left with then is 2 over 4, which we can reduce into 1/2. That is the final answer, right? So this whole expression here, right? If we actually do the division, right? It's going to simplify to 1/2.